At first I was shocked. No, no, more like ecstatic. 5,000 views when my normal views were more likely erratic. An upcoming YouTube sensation. Talking about a multiverse of magic from my tiny island nation. But while I have my doubts of 5,000 views overnight, I'm happy to carry on, get the next vid in my sights. After all, Exandria is a hot topic right now, far be it from me to look a viral horse in the mouth. But now that these people are interested, what could I do to make sure they stay invested? So today, we'll continue our weird geeky times with a recap of the series so far, simplified and summarized on April 1st, and also in rhyme. The D&D multiverse is secret and vasting, a threat never-ending with foes everlasting. If they'd synchronized watches and banded together, this story would quickly be over forever. But we control forces to keep them at bay, the tidal wave kept from sweeping away all that we love for just one more day, forces that come when we read, flirt and pray. Magic, the unified, conflicting force, create fire at will or summon a horse. Just some hand waves, materials and or deep intonations to confound and destroy evil's machinations. But a spell isn't magic, just the main consequence of releasing an energy that's been braided, condensed. The pattern of braid determines the spell, be it conjure or abjure, confuse or compel. This uniform magical force has no end, it's on every plane. Most monsters depend on a mystical link to this ubiquitous power to destroy, control, travel, devour. And speaking of travel from point A to point B, describe all the ways was challenged to me by a giant, a dragon of the YouTube sages, the mighty glue stick, the guy who now pays my wages. At first it felt easy, just list all the spells, include the descriptions, the whistles, the bells. 48 spells later, I'd made a mistake. Point A to point B, I'll have to truncate. First, tactical spells for a tactical game. Expeditious to D-Door, all mostly the same. Take an action to travel a little bit faster. Don't get yourself damaged, stay close to the caster. Second is narrative, the role-playing side. Teleporting to distance or the mount you can ride. The spells that don't focus on actions per round for traveling from town to dungeon to town. And finally the best, the ones at the end. Charm person means everyone's a piggyback friend. Banish a demon who asks a pal for a lift. Simulacrum means you can cut yourself on a disc. But taking a break from this serious cue, it's the ongoing adventures of Red NZ Glue. We talk about favouring, we talk about gods, we talk of the ends, we talk of the odds. And next we discover the world's casting spells, the curious placement of rocks within dells, with waterfalls tumbling and leaves in the breeze, the natural world making portals with ease. Portals are natural, playing by the rules. They go everywhere and are opened by tools. These tools could be physical, mental, abstract, most go to sigil, an obscure fact. You know who could use them, who'd be the most willing? These people you thwart, you guessed it, the villains. But most ways the villains could get that job done are waylaid by heroes, the sleeps and the stuns. Potions exist to help you get through. Stomachs can concentrate on spells set of you. But invulnerability plate and reduce makes Annihilation Sphere my favourite vamoose. And speaking of villains, this guy was the first to take a bad sitch and make it much worse. To think that the man who flew cities on rocks had no other way to beat thinking socks. He cast level 12 and drew Mistral to him, and seized all her power, her magic, her vim, but couldn't control her portfolio, and all magic on Faerun so threatened to blow. And Mistral herself took the last of her thoughts, and killed herself thus. Ritual was naught, so too was magic, and Netheril would fall, Arcassus's folly made public to all. But much older kingdoms lived on and thrived, using magic from which the Netheries derived. The socialist magic, the skills of a few, in sync with the many, and the arcane too. If spellcasting's done with the wave of a hand, then high magic's done with the whole of the land. Not casting and weaving and taking away, but exciting, directing, then letting it fade. Be water, be fire, be air, be akasa, from motion to thermal, the planets to master. The magic is epic, from drying the seas, to destroying a country, to cure all disease. But why cure diseases across the whole nation? Just live in a city that has a purgation, a field of magic across the whole city, created eons ago by committee. What has power and rules but cannot ordain? What has mind and intent, but still not a brain? The answer you seek to this worrisome riddle was the video's purpose, the High Elven Mythal. In AD&D it was simple to raise, at least simple to plan, but in fact it took days. 3.5 D&D it took XP and gold, but nothing in 4th, and in 5th we're not told. And now for the first in a while we turn. Get out of the kitchen if you can't stand the burn. For once you have beaten the final game boss, you naturally turn from dungeons to sauce. Le Critique Petit Pain, your own restaurant, serving the rich every need, every want, every spell you'll desire to make real their wishes, instructions and notes to make grey stuff delicious. Since make won't this error my me excuse please, time a mancy to entrance the mark rhymes these. But perhaps if you were an old chrono mage you'd understand time travel could be engaged. This was part 1 of a playlist on time, before my new vid that prompted these rhymes. With time gates and fortunes and temporal prime and 4 types of new chronomancer pastimes. And pastimes are special, they keep skills unfurled, like cooking or knitting or taking over the world. To pull off the latter you'll need a good item to buy off the heroes so you don't have to fight them. The Crenchinnabon, the green crystal tower of mind control magic that brings you to power. Bring the world to its knees through finance and be the next Travis McElroy through accountancy. And when you have conquered you'll then need a rest, and these people's magic is up to the test. Or the spells that you'll need to take a vacation with examples and reasons and handy notations. And what are those spells but copies from foes? And which came first, the chicken or slow? A theoretical video on the origins of spells, from the angels of heaven to the demons of hell. These creatures existed long before us and they cast the familiar with no mess, no fuss. And perhaps we dissected the secrets from them, translate the inherent into magical ken. And finally the pied de resistance, Exandria's magic, what everyone wants, a vid of the lore of the stream that we love, the critical family and the fans thereof. So here's to another amazing year. I walk forward with hope, with fun and no fear, the knowledge of ages all wrapped up in odd. See you all in the future, my dear Purple Squad.